Well, welcome back to yet another episode of Soccer Betting News Video. I'm your host, Desh, and with me today is the one and only football analyst, Mdletshe. Mdlu, welcome.
Thanks, Desh. I'm very happy to be here. Excited.
Making your podcast, having got that under the belt. We've moved you on, progressed through the ranks, and here you're on the video.
Yeah. Very happy to be here, Desh. Very stoked. Super excited to see what we unpack today.
We're going to discuss the PSL return. Obviously, the league was on a temporary pause for the international break. Bafana winning one and losing one of their two FIFA World Cup qualifiers. What do you make of their performances across those two fixtures?
Yeah, it's such a tricky mixed bag of results for Bafana Bafana. I thought the first game they played really well. Actually, the first half of the first game was remarkable for Bafana Bafana. I thought they came there with the game plan, which they executed to perfection. But again, as the game progressed, we allowed Benin to get confidence and get back into the game. I thought going into that Rwanda game, having seen what we saw against Benin, there would be some sort of change in approach against Rwanda. But again, the pitch, the conditions in Rwanda were not as easy as we wanted to in order to deliver the game plans that Hugo Bruce and his technical coach had wanted.
SPN viewers, if you'd like, you can feel free to comment, letting us know what is your highlight of those two Bafana performances. I know Mdlu just mentioned it was the first half of the first game, but you can let us know if you agree or disagree with that. Mdlu, just before we wrap up things with Bafana, I want to speak about the youth in the Bafana setup. I know Bradley Cross, Jaden Adams, as well as Ozun Opolis from Polokwane City making their Bafana call-ups. I think it was the first for all three of those players. What do you think about the youth integration?
I think we've spoken this at length in the past about the importance of introducing youngsters into that national setup. I don't remember if I'm wrong or right. I could be wrong. We had a last 17-year-old make a debut in Bafana Bafana. I think that could have been 6 or 7 years ago under Sheikh Mashaba. So the more we see youngsters getting thrown into that deep end that is Bafana Bafana, the better for the growth of football in South Africa. Yeah,
100%. Let's move right along to the PSL preview. We're going to kick things off with Richards Bay hosting Orlando Pirates. Now, Pirates haven't really had the best away form in the league. Across their 5 away league fixtures, I think they've scored just 3 goals. What do you make of that?
It's going to be troubling for Jose Rivero and his technical staff if they come to realize that going away is not really their strong point. They haven't done very well on the road, and I think as a whole they haven't done well in the league. Yes, they've backed some really good performances here and there. They've got some really good team goals here and there, but I feel like as a whole, overall, he won't be happy with where they are on the log. If you look at the gap between themselves and Mamelodi Sundowns, it's not reflecting what they were saying. They said that they are the team to dethrone them this season, but we've seen a huge gap in terms of points. We've seen a huge gap in terms of the style of play and also the preparations that both teams bring into the season. Yeah,
you mentioned preparation. Richards Bay obviously did their homework and actually dispatched Orlando Pirates from the Carling Cup this weekend. They go head to head again. What do you make of the Richards Bay performance?
Again, it's all the pressure on Pirates. That performance where they knocked the Sea Robbers out of the Carling Black Label Cup was probably one of their best in the season, and you like to see that. I've seen a few games where Richards Bay have shown what they're capable of, but then they allow their opponents just to overpower them. That game where they won against Pirates, they showed their authority in the game, and I think going into this one, that's the only game they need to be looking into. They need to tap into the spirit as to how they beat Pirates, and I think it can be done, to be honest. Pirates are not really at their best at the moment, and it's for all the teams that are basically below them to take advantage and maybe steal some points.
100%. I need your prediction on this one.
I think again, it's going to be both teams can score here, but I have to edge it and say Pirates are going to get away with all the 3 points.
Do you think they just needed more?
They have to, and I think that's probably what Rivero's going to be instilling in the players. Again, Katano Tembo, same sort of approach to say we can't allow that game that we want to overcloud our judgment. Let's go there, prepare, approach this game as the first time that we're playing these guys this season, and let's not give them too much respect.
100%. Amazulu host Stellenbosch at Moses Mabhida Stadium. Now, Veli Motor, having kept so many clean sheets over maybe the 2023 calendar year, he's edged himself into that Bafana setup, earning a call-up as well. I think he has played at home against Eswatini not so long ago, so he's someone that is very much part of the setup. Also, Pablo Franco Martin, what a sensational season he's been having since being appointed as the head coach of Amazulu. Do you think he's going to get to an oversellies this weekend?
I think so. I think I would have done a preview about this on the blog to say they've got all the momentum on their side.
Yeah.
They won the last game that they played in the league, and so confidence should be high. We can talk all day about the impact that Jimpi, Pablo, has brought into the team. But yeah, again, I think I could be wrong again. A win for Amazulu could just throw them into the top 5, depending on that result on the day. But it shows you how far they've come. At some point, they were at the bottom of the log last season and the early stages of this season. So you get a technical guy come in there, technically gifted coach who has just come in there and just instill a sort of winning mentality in that Amazulu team.
100%. Let's move the conversation over to Steve Barker's Stellenbosch.
Yeah.
Now, Barker has been with the setup for about 7 years now. You know, he's on a new contract, and I'm sure delivering silverware was one of the criteria. Now, his side, in fact, so is Amazulu. They're involved in semi-finals of the Carling Cup next weekend. So do you think this being an away game for Stellenbosch, he's going to try and maintain the squad, maybe bubble wrap some of his key players, the likes of Reyners?
He's got a tough decision to make as a coach. I think you have to choose how do you want to look? If you're losing a game, at least lose it with the best players on the pitch. Do not approach any game that we are going to take the foot off the pedal because it's Amazulu or it's not. But I think for Barker, like you said, he's been there for a long time. He knows what he's doing. He has been around in terms of mainly all the competitions that you come across in a season. He's faced the situation before, and I think he'll probably get through it as a professional. Yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head there. You know, he is a very professional man. You can see the way he tackles those press conferences, and as well players. You know, you don't hear many players misbehaving in Stellenbosch. You know?
And I think that's the thing. That's why he's never under pressure in terms of he's never in the papers to say is he getting axed or is he going to still have a job next season. He's always maintained his style of play and his style of management in terms of each player. So, like I said, even when they lose, you still feel like there was something that you could take out there as a positive.
Yeah. Your prediction in this game?
I'm gonna give it to 2-1 Amazulu.
Interesting over here.
2-1 Amazulu. I'm really impressed by their midfield play, especially since Mochwari joined up in there. So it's been very organized. So I think most of their goals now are coming through that center.
Okay. Let's move along to Cape Town Spurs versus Royal M. Ernst Middendorp, I believe this is going to be his first game in charge of the Cape Town outfit. How do you think he's going to set up against this KZ inside Royal M?
Well, Middendorp is tried and tested in this league. We all know him. I think should be number 7 or 8 in terms of his PSL teams. But yeah, he's got a good record as well. He's somebody who really emphasizes on goals. He likes goals. He likes technical approach to every game. So yeah, I do see that it could be just what they needed for Spurs. It could be what they needed just to turn that corner because they did win a game under Sean Kana. So now it's just for him to come and build on that win.
I think it was the Buccaneers.
Very big win. And then it was during that time where they were in Joburg where they couldn't beat Amakosi, but they got one over the Sea Robbers.
It was a 3-2 screamer that game against Kaizer Chiefs.
And I think we can single out a certain Bashman in that game.
Came on and made a sensational effort, slotting calmly, shall I say, in the box against Itu, which is one of the most seasoned keepers in the country.
I mean, we can talk about Kune, his woes all day, but it comes down to just the youngster taking his chances there, and I'm sure you're going to see more of that as the season progresses.
Does Portman get on the score sheet this weekend against Royal?
The stage is set for him. He's laid a foundation now. He's basically sort of given us of what he's about. We've got a taste of what he's about. So I'm backing him for more goals this season.
Your prediction in this game?
1-0. 1-0 for Spurs. They edge it.
Incredible. Do you think this is the rich vein of form that they need to ascend up the log?
Again, I mean, when you look at most of what we're dealing with now, most of the things are on their side. They've got a very young squad. They've got a new coach who, again, tried and tested in the Premier League. I don't think Middendorp has been relegated before. I stand to be corrected. But he's coming there now. He's tried to turn things around. I think it's gonna be maybe a good challenging 2 months for him.
Interesting. Moving along to TS Galaxy hosting Polokwane City. Polokwane City without head coach Sima. He's moved on to, let's hope, greener pastures. Do you think Polokwane City are going to be destabilized because of that huge structural change? I
think if you look at the log, they've been destabilized, and I think the news that he's leaving broke within the team long before we could get that into our ears. I think they've thrown 4 games in a row, and it just shows you that before that they were amongst the top 4 teams at the early stage of the season. I think the 4 draws just tells you that the players might have had that in their mindset and their mentality going into many games. So they've drawn those games, and I think again we are not really sure who's going to take over. But again, it's going to be a tough tough job to keep them in the league. Never mind in the top 8 or whatever. It's going to be a tough job to keep them in the league with so many teams now hungry to stay there.
Yeah. I have to ask you, have Polokwane City won all their games for the PSL season already?
I mean, I hope not. I mean, we joked about as Parthab having scored all these goals, but you always wish that could not be the case. We've seen teams win less games, obviously. It's a tough ask for a team to come in the PSL and stay in the top 8, let alone survive the whole season. For me, I don't really believe that they could be done and dusted. They've got good players there. I'm sure Mapena and company have got a lot of fighting spirit for them to survive.
Let's move the conversation over to TS Galaxy. You know, Sid Ramovic has done an exceptionally good job since being appointed as TS Galaxy head coach this season. You know, he doesn't really have the most shall I say, his options in attack are limited. You know, the likes of Bernard Parker, recovery, Kabuza has not really had a big part to play in the season, and I think he's just sorting some personal affairs out right now. Nurkovic is back with a bang. You know, he scored a screamer about a month ago. Do you think he's going to be pivotal as they look to continue their form in the league and the cup?
Yeah, I think Ramovic, having started the season so well, he would have been scratching his head now, especially in the past 3 or 4 games where they've just conceded more goals than they should have. But I think more pressure now has to fall on the likes of Nukovic. I understand the situation with Kabuza. Bernard Parker might not play again. We're still waiting to hear that. But for me, really, it does come down to Nukovic. If they won't purchase a striker during the Christmas transfer window, it means that all that pressure falls on Nukovic's shoulders. And to be fair, the guy is a proven striker. He's shown that the PSL, he understands it. He knows how to get behind defenders. And I think he's capable of maybe getting 10, if not more goals.
It is the hallmark of a great striker. You know, when you're under pressure, can you actually deliver? Do you think you have enough firepower to get over this Polokwane outfit?
They do. Again, it does come down to the fact that they have a slight advantage of a coach who's been there since last season. He's got a plan for them. I think every game that Said Ramovic plays, he approaches differently. Again, it does come down to the approach. I think for Polokwane City, no head coach at the moment, having started so well under CMA, it's still such a confusing dilemma for me as to why they allowed him to leave. But I'm sure as the season progresses, we'll find out as to how some coach with his caliber was allowed to leave. But it does come down to the fact that they might just have to endure a very tough period in the next games or so, where they are without a coach. They are still searching for a coach. The players' mentality is not at its best as it was at the early stages of the season. So for me, I don't see them winning.
We'll have to wait and see. So your prediction in this game?
It's a bit of a tricky one, and I'm going to tell you why. The Rockets, TS Galaxy, have conceded 7 goals in the last 3 league games. So I think they're bound to concede again, but I see them edging this game. It could be a 2-1, but I know both teams are probably going to concede it.
100%. And I just want to add over here, Oswin Opoulos, you know, we mentioned him earlier, but he was one of those 3 youth players that actually got a senior cap. You know, I think he was his first. He came on as a substitute, so, you know, you have to wonder if that confidence will breed into him and his attacking teammates. So, you know, you have to wonder if that's going to be the telling point for the remainder of the season. Moving along to Swallows are hosting Kaizer Chiefs. Now, Steve Compella still being appointed. I think he has done a relatively good job. You know, Swallows for large parts of the season was trailing Sundowns. You know, they're up to second and stayed there for quite a number of games. Compella has been tasked with a very difficult fixture list. I think he plays Chiefs this weekend, Pirates thereafter, Super Sport. I know Sundowns is also in the mix, as well as Golden Arrows. So, you know, this is his test, really.
I think he's more than capable. He's shown, and my own personal opinion is that since if you compare any team that appointed a coach at the start of the season, you could mention Babina Noko and include the team that got promoted. For me, Compella stands out in terms of impact, influence, and the results. He's won more games. He's sitting at the top now. I think going forward, he's going to want to keep that mentality running. And I'm sure at the moment he's looking for players to come in and bolster the squad, because he's laid a foundation there with nice experience. I'm talking about the likes of Jali and all those guys. But now he needs
Mabasa as well.
Mabasa, who scored goals earlier in the season. I think he's got more in him as well. I think, but as the season progresses, some legs are going to go tired. Experience, and also the festive season. We've seen that. The festive
second half isn't always,
it's not the same, and it's like a Bafana Bafana game basically. But for me, he needs to bolster the squad in order to avoid having to fight relegation, having started so well. And the same thing can be said about Amazulu. They are in a position now where it's a make or break. If they continue with the same squad and not add into that, it might just go south for them.
Yeah,
you know,
good
they
show
need to
on the
maintain that. Yeah.
You know, you spoke about incomings. Let's talk about Kevin Johnson for a few minutes. Johnson is in the hot seat. It is the hottest seat in the PSL.
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs head coach. Currently, I believe he's the interim manager appointed till the head of the season. I'm not sure if the search is still ongoing for this season, but definitely for next season, those candidates will come to the forefront. Now, Johnson has had a few weeks to work with the team. Obviously, he was defeated in the Soweto derby 1-0. How do you think that has impacted the team?
I think for Kaizer Chiefs, again, you look at the start of the season, it just gives you vibes that it's going to be more
difficult,
you know,
more of the same
of the past 9-8 years. So we haven't seen a different approach from, again, even before the first game of the season was played. You were getting that sort of mentality that, you know, appointing Mdletshe, keeping Zwane in the team, it's not really a step in the right direction or a step forward for me. But for Johnson to come in there, again, under a lot of scrutiny, a lot of criticism here, apparently the fact that he hasn't won really a notable cup in the country puts him under the spotlight to say this is the biggest team in the country. You know, it does come down to that. But if you look at the two guys before him as well, Zwane and Teki, there wasn't really much in terms of achievements in the PSL. So again, it does come down to what are Chiefs trying to do. We've seen a few reports in the media during the week that they are trying to get a coach from Brazil, or you know, you never know with them because they never really make announcement in terms of what are their plans are, but you only just get to say here's a coach now, here's a striker now, we've got a striker but it doesn't really gel well with the fans now, especially with the frustrations of the past 8 years where there's been no sort of tangible results. So now you get the fact that fans are so frustrated. It does come down to the fact that every game there's going to be some sort of retaliation after the game, that you lost this game, you drew this game, you should have done better. But for that to be avoided altogether, there needs to be some sort of I don't know, cohesion where everybody has a say. You know, it just feels like there's sort of one person taking decisions as to this is who we need now, this is what we need, and that's not how you run a club. Yeah,
I mean, there's always speculation when it comes to Chiefs, and I want you to speculate right now with your prediction.
For the game, obviously, I can't speculate for coaches, if you're listening. But anyway, for me, it feels like Chiefs are enduring a very bad period. Again, Johnson has come in there and tried to stabilize some sections of the squad. Again, they're still not scoring enough goals as they should be. They are also conceding, it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon. So again, it feels like Swallows are just going to edge them. I feel like the fact that even the derby, they didn't really look convincing. So yeah, this is another derby for them. That's going to go into their heads. I think Swallows edged them by 1-0.
Wow, low scoring game over here.
Low scoring game.
Interesting. Our final fixture of the weekend is Golden Arrows hosting Cape Town City now. Golden Arrows was very much the form team of the PSL, and you know, a dark horse if you ask me, because I never saw this coming. You know, the likes of Ryan Moon playing well, Knox Motizo as well, banging the goals. The defense done really well. Bradley Cross, we've just mentioned, getting a call up. Even the opposite wing back doing sensational things over there. Do you think they are going to reset following this international break and look forward to maybe getting back to where they were, because they are coming to this on the back of 2 league losses?
I mean, they have to. If I know Maputi Kanyeza, he would have been frustrated at the drop that happened right before the international break. But I think that comes with the fatigue of the players, with the league. It's like a marathon. You know, there's going to be there'll be points where you are on a high, there'll be points where you are basically you're dropping. But having started the way they started, I feel like they are in a very good position to get back into it. They've got the same coach. They've lost Vilagazi earlier in the season, but they've maintained that mentality to say they can win any game they want to play. And for me, the biggest sort of takeout from their start of the season was changing their home games from Mabhida, from Zwelithini to Mpumalanga said, and that's done wonders for them. They get support there, they get to box in the opposition and probably just lay out their game plan without having to worry about the size or whatever of the pitch. So I think they've really turned that into a hunting ground for them, and it's working for them.
Well, they're hosting Cape Town City. We're very much the form team of the Premiership right now. I think they're on the coming to this one with 5 wins from their previous 5 games. Kanye Samaya, all right in the thick of things. Do you think he's going to get on the score sheet?
He's very exciting to watch. I think he complements that Cape Town City squad very nicely. It's a very youthful squad under Eric Tinkler. But yeah, if if again coming to Hammersdale, it's going to be a very big ask for them to get 3 points there. I do see them getting a draw, but again, it's Arrow's hunting ground. They are more favoured to win. But yeah, you do speak about the fact that Switzy have been very impressive in the past weeks or so. Again, but again, I cannot see them getting a win. Yeah.
So you're calling a draw?
I'm calling a draw. Yeah, but it comes down to the hunting ground. That is the Hammersdale Stadium.
Yeah. Okay. Well, football fans, you've heard it right from the horse's mouth over here.
Right.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to our video. Cheers.
Cheers.
For more soccer betting tips and previews, get the latest copy of Soccer Betting News for only 10 Rand at your nearest Hollywood Bets branch or news agent.